Welcome or welcome back to Crafts by KMW. Thank you so much for joining me today and watching this video, and I hope you will enjoy it. So today I have a crafting video. So I have really gotten into these decorative molds lately. I have two so far. This is the first one I bought. This is a redesign by Prima. And this one I just bought about a week and a half ago. I got this one off of Etsy. I believe this one is also a Prima as well. I have another one in my Etsy cart that I just have to push the button on. And there's a few others that I am thinking of purchasing. They are so versatile and so fun. And I just love them for so many decorative purposes, and they're so easy to use. So I'm actually going to show you the ones that I've molded from these two molds and paint them for you using my new Ohuhu metallic acrylic paint set. So I absolutely love this set and I highly recommend it. I am not being paid. This is my honest opinion. I am not an affiliate of Ohuhu or anything. This is my very first Ohuhu product, but I just wanted to share it because if you're like me and you're a crafter and you use paint for crafting, for painting things like your molded pieces, painting in coloring books, painting in your journals. You don't need a fancy, expensive paint like Liquitex that the artists use. So you need a nice, moderately priced, but high quality set. And I think this is it. I'm pretty sure that Ohuhu probably makes regular colors too, not metallics. I'm not sure. I haven't looked for them. I don't need any regular paints. I just bought a set. So I'm sure they do have them and you can check those out. But I am wholly behind these paints. They are fantastic. So this set, the original price is $29.99 on Amazon. I don't know if you can get them cheaper anywhere else. They did have 20% off, so I got them for $26.99. So I thought that was a great price for what you get. That's like $1 and change per color, which I think is fantastic. Like I said, I do not own any other Ohuhu products, but I did know the name. I know that their alcohol markers are really good substitutes for the Copics, which can cost up to $400, $500 for their full sets. So I knew the name and I was like, okay, if I'm buying a paint set, I'm not going to use them all that much. I want something that is going to be quality because I don't want to waste my money. So I went with Ohuhu's paint set and they are fantastic. So they come in this nice box. It's definitely solid enough where you could keep it and use it if you wanted to store them in. I think I'm going to store them in this box for now, but I will definitely move them to something else at some point. So here are the colors. Sorry, I didn't have that centered right. So you get pretty much every color that you would want. So you have your silver, you have 3 golds, you have a bronze, and you have copper as well. There's also black, and then there's a silver gray, which I kind of see as sort of a mixture of silver and black, so I'm excited to try that color. You have pinks, there's a peach, there's yellow, there's purple, couple of purples, couple of blues, couple of greens. So pretty much every color that you would want. So let me show you what the bottles look like. So these are 2 ounces each. The bottle is not fancy at all, but the paints themselves are fantastic. They totally exceeded my expectations. They are super thick and you can see how metallic they are when you put them on your palette. It is just bursting with metallic luster. And so they are really, really nice to use. So now let me show you some of the molded pieces that I made a couple of weeks ago, and I painted them last night with these paints. So I'm going to go through the colors that I used. So this is the copper. Oh, I just think the copper is so beautiful. I have never seen a copper that looked like this in paint. It is so coppery. It's just lovely. And then this is the silver. Really nice silver. It's a shiny silver, but it's a really nice silver. This one is the bright gold. So this I used the bright gold on. And then this one is the regular gold. So this is just a small frame I had hanging around. And I had a little leftover paint from painting the molds. So I didn't want it to go to waste. So I just decided I would paint this one. And then I used the pearl white on this piece. Love, love the white. Really nice. This one was a little see-through. It was not as opaque as the gold and the copper and the silver. So I did have to do 2 coats on this one, but it is lovely. And then I also used the pink. So this is the pearl pink, which is the really light pink. This one also needed 2 coats, and I'm not sure if it's because of the pigment or because of the kind of shininess of the hot glue, but it required 2 coats, and now I think it's just lovely. So this is a piece that I made. So I had covered it with black as a base coat, and then I used the bright gold over the top. So I dry brushed it on, and I wiped some of it off in places as well where I got a little bit too much. But I love how it makes this piece look really antique and old and just really cool. So I'm gonna do some of these others today. And I'm gonna use some of the other colors because I just wanna see how they come out. So I'm really excited to try the silver gray. So I'm gonna try that. All right, here it is. Okay, and watch how this comes out. Oh my gosh, I was so excited to see. Let me make sure I have this in frame. Oh, look how it comes out. And look how shiny and thick it is. Just awesome. So I'm going to use this silver gray on another black piece that I molded and painted solid black. So I'm just dipping my brush in the paint, and then I'm taking a lot of it off. Now you could also wipe it on a paper towel, but I don't want so much paint to go on the paper towel. If I keep it on my palette, which is just a paper plate, it's available for me to use. So now I am just brushing this on. I'm gonna get some more paint. And this is all I do. I just brush it on like this. Now you can also do a more solid coat of your contrast or your highlight color, and then use a cloth or paper towel to wipe it off. I have done that. One thing I have found though in painting these other pieces is that this paint dries pretty quickly. You don't have a lot of working time with it, which I think is fine. That's not a problem, but you do have to be careful. So if you're gonna do it that way and just paint a thick coat on to wipe it off, just work very, very quickly because it does dry. So I'm just going over the piece. And there we have it. I don't know if I'm gonna add anything else to this. I actually like how it looks. Again, it looks really antique, old, vintage, and it's exactly the look I'm going for. So I have some left, so I'm going to do the same with this silver frame. One thing I will tell you is that you do not need to squirt a lot of that paint out. It is so thick and goes a long way. You don't need a lot. So I have done that where I put too much on and then I was done painting what I wanted to, and I have all this paint left. And I had to kind of figure out what else I could paint with it so I didn't waste it. So just be aware of that and keep that in mind. You only need a real little bit unless you are painting something that is kind of big. But if you're doing something like what I'm doing, you really only need a little bit. All right. I think that's really added some depth and dimension, excuse me, to this piece. So I'm gonna let that dry. And I'm actually, I don't know how this is gonna work, but I'm actually gonna try this on this pink one. I may regret it, but we'll see. So this one I'm just going really light on. I hardly have any paint on the brush. Probably have to go in and get some more. Okay. And I'm just trying to get the outside edges a little bit because I will be applying these most likely to journal covers. I have an Etsy store and I make handmade journals. So I will be using these as the covers, so you will be able to see the sides. Okay. Now I could put more on that if I want, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave it like it is. I think it's brought out some of the designs in here a little bit better. So I think I'm just gonna leave it as is and let that dry. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I have this little silver piece and I'm gonna use the rest of this silver gray and cover this. I'm also gonna put a little on these little nails, just a little bit. Okay. All right, so this is a little wet for me to pick up, but as you can see, it's a little bit darker than this one, but it still looks silver to me. So this one is pretty much dry, so you can see how that looks dry. Love, love, love it. So I still have a little bit more of this paint. So I am going to paint this little frame with it. I don't want to waste any of this. This will probably take a couple coats. This frame has a little bit of a glossy finish. So I'm just kind of getting it on there to use up the rest of this paint, so I don't waste it. Now the only kind of negative thing I found with this paint is that I don't know if reacts with is the best word, but it reacts to your brush having water on it. So if your brush is wet, so like if you change colors and you rinse your brush off, it doesn't go on as nicely. And I'm not sure why that is. I don't know enough about acrylic paint to understand the mechanics of that. If you do, I would love for you to put that in the comments and enlighten us, because I just don't know why that would be. But my advice is to make sure that you dry your brush really, really well after you rinse it, to make sure that you have as little wetness as possible when you go to your next color. Okay. So I'm going to use the black next. So I'm going to do my favorite part, squirting it on the plate. And I'm going to do a little bit. I put too much on. Okay. There it is. Again, you can see how thick it is and how shiny and metallic it is. So I am going to use this a little bit on this silver one. It's pretty much dry now. So I'm just gonna add some black on top. Again, I'm just putting a very little bit on my brush and going over it a lot then starts to take some of the paint back off if you put too much on. So you probably can't really tell, but there's a little bit on there. I just wanted it to look a little more antique. And now I'm gonna add some black to this, to these little gold pieces. I want them to look, oh, well, that one fell on the floor. All right. Mishaps will happen when painting. All right, so there's that one. And I'm gonna get that one from the floor. I'll be right back. Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay. And I'm gonna add a little bit to this one. I just feel like this one has a little bit too much of the gold on it, so I just want to tone it down a little bit. Okay. So it's really subtle. Again, I don't have much on the brush. And now I'm going to take this copper one and do the same thing. This is so fun. If you've never done it before, it is really relaxing and it's just fun because you don't have to be exact. It actually looks better when things are sort of messy and not perfect. And that's what I love about this. So there's that one with the black added. I'm actually going to rub a little bit off of the top here. Okay. I really didn't take much off. It dries really, really quickly, very quickly. I think that's good, actually. I like that it dries quickly. It doesn't bother me that it doesn't take a long time. I'm impatient, and so when I'm working, I like to do my second coat, add more, do my next thing, and if it takes forever to dry, I don't like that. I get really impatient. So I'm also going to add a little bit onto this one. And I'm going to add a little bit to the pink one. I put a little bit too much there, so I'm going to wipe that off. Okay. Yeah, I did that right away, so it caught it. All right, and I think I'm gonna do a little bit on this big gold frame. I don't want a lot, because I want this frame to still look gold. So I am keeping just a very little bit of paint on my paintbrush, and now sometimes I'll just stop at adding one color on top. Sometimes I'll add two, depends on what I'm doing. Oh, I didn't show you that. So there's that one. So I've just toned it down a little bit, made it a little less shiny. And I'm gonna do the same with these the little bolts. Just add a little bit of the black on top. Just very haphazardly. And I'm just picking up this copper one again. And just going over the swirls and curls. I'm not touching them inside. I think that's enough. Okay. So there's that one. So I've been trying to decide what color I want to do with this white one. So I was thinking about the colors that my journal covers have, and I could do this a couple different ways, but I think I'm gonna use blue. So there are a couple blues, so I'm gonna try the pearl turquoise blue. So here is the fun part. And I'm just squirting out a tiny little bit. Oh, look at that color. Oh, it is so pretty. Because a little goes a long way. I actually added too much of the black to my palette, and I'm probably gonna waste a little bit, which I hate. I hate wasting paint. I hate wasting things that I pay for. I like to get every little penny out of everything I buy. So, all right, so I'm dipping my brush in, and here we go. Ooh, like that. Now, I'm sure you could thin this paint down with water if you wanted to make a thinner wash. I prefer it thick, so I probably won't do that, but I think you definitely could. So I'm just adding little amounts at a time to my brush. Oh my gosh, I love this. This is a really pretty color. So pretty. Okay. So I have pretty much used that whole dollop of paint. And you see how far it went. So a little dab will do you. Okay, and there is the piece. It's still drying, but oh, love, love, love the blue. I don't know if I'll put anything else on this. I don't think so. I think it looks really good as it is with the blue. So I think that's all of my pieces. So I'm gonna do one more color on one or two pieces just because I want to see what it looks like. So I'm gonna use the pearl wine. So here's what it looks like in the bottle. It definitely looks like a true wine color. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little plop. Ooh, look at that. Really pretty red. Lovely. All right. So I'm just drying off my paintbrush really good. And I've been using, I didn't show you, I've been using just a flat 1/2 inch paintbrush. I bought this at my local art store. It's from Princeton Art and Brush Company. And it came in a set of, I think, 4 brushes for like, I think it was like $5 or $6. It was really cheap. Again, I'm not an artist, so I don't feel like I need to buy expensive paintbrushes. So I like to get the best quality I can for the least amount of money. All right, so I'm gonna spread a little bit of this red on this gold frame. I have not done this before. I don't know how it's gonna look. This is a total experiment. I may hate it, I may not. But the good thing is that if you work with paint and you hate it, you can most likely paint right over it again and make it look the way you want and get rid of the icky color. So I'm not worried about it if I don't like it. Okay. I'm just using it very lightly so far. It almost has a coppery look to me. Very similar. Okay. All right, so there it is. I see a little bit of a difference. It's not super bright red, which is what I was going for. That's why I chose the wine. There is a bright red color that I didn't want to do. And I'm just gonna add some of the red that's left over to these little gold pieces that I have. All right, and I think now I want to use a little bit of the red on this one. Now, I don't have a lot left, so that's good. So it'll be really light. Ooh, I like that. And I love that these colors are so metallic. They're really shiny. If you're looking for subtle metallic, I don't think these are your best choice. But if you're looking for super metallic, these are amazing. Okay. So there it is with the wine on it. Just added a little bit of red. You can still see the black. You can still see the silver gray. Just a little tinge of red. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so that's my video today. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope it inspires you. And again, if you are looking for a great set of metallic paints, the Ohuhu set is a definite winner. You will not go wrong spending your money on it. I think the thickness of it and the amount that it goes, in other words, how it spreads, you only need a teeny tiny bit. So I think it will last a long time for all your art projects. I'm actually thinking of using it in one of my coloring books. So I may do a video of that soon. So check that out on the channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm as I try to grow my channel and get to that first 1,000 subscribers. I have gotten several items that I would like to give away. So once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I am going to do a giveaway. So if you'd like to be part of that, subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And if you have any comments, if you've used these paints or if you use molds and you make things, I would love to see what you do with them, what your ideas are, and please ask any questions if you would like. As always, if you have any suggestions for me for a video, please let me know. I have gotten one suggestion so far about using alcohol markers, so I am planning to make a video on that. So look for that on the channel. Thank you so much again for watching and have a very crafty day.